Hi, I'm Michelle Fitzgerald with the Sensar Learning Center, and today I want to talk with you a little bit about subtle energies and fatigue. There are many subtle energy situations that can cause fatigue. And while there also are many physical situations that can cause fatigue, sometimes it can be very useful and beneficial to know about some of the subtle energy causes, especially if you've been trying physical remedies and you just don't seem to be getting any relief. Today I'm going to go over 5 situations that are pretty common that might help you if you are dealing with fatigue, whether that's mild fatigue all the way up to the drop you to your knees, devastating, debilitating type of fatigue. All these situations can actually cause that latter level of fatigue. Now, before I get into the topic today, I do want to remind you that, as I already said, that sometimes fatigue is caused by very physical symptoms. So it's really important if you're dealing with ongoing fatigue, or if fatigue has just come upon you for no apparent reason and it's not been something that you've suffered with before, you should check with a medical doctor first to see if perhaps there's a physical cause for what's causing the fatigue. But if you can't find solutions, or if you've been trying to find solutions through that path and have not been able to find it, along with the physical pursuits, you might begin to look at the subtle energies. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is that you take a look at your chakra system and you check for something called polarity reversals. Polarity reversals are where the chakras, one or more of the chakras, these can be minor chakras or major chakras, start spinning the wrong way. And if enough of the minor chakra system, or if 1 or 2 of your major chakras start doing this, it can be incredibly fatiguing. So how do you reverse this? How do you change this? Well, alternate nostril breathing, a yoga technique, it's a yogic breathing technique, is usually very effective with polarity reversals. So you just breathe in one nostril. Usually you hold your hands like this. You breathe in one nostril. You hold for a count of 4 or 5, sometimes longer, but you hold your breath and then you release through the other nostril, and then you breathe again through that nostril, and you alternate back and forth. There's some very good videos online. You can go onto YouTube and you can find lots of good videos by yoga professionals who will show you how to do this very precisely and get the absolute best results. I'm just giving you a really quick example, but alternate nostril breathing would be probably my top recommendation. There are other ways to correct chakra imbalances like this, but alternate nostril breathing is easy, and you can learn it very quickly. Now, how do you know if you're dealing with a polarity reversal? Well, ordinarily I'd say with something like this, well, just douse it, or just use your intuitive insights to see if that's wrong with you, if that's what's wrong with you. But the reality is if you have a polarity reversal, if you have a chakra spin reversal, one of the things it does, in addition to fatiguing you, is it messes up your intuitive reads, and you start getting very inaccurate intuitive results. So if you are an intuitive and you found that you're getting a lot of bad reads and you're fatigued, I would suspect polarity reversals, and I would just start doing alternate nostril breathing. If you're someone who deals with fatigue regularly, I would just, like some people take vitamin pills, I would just start doing alternate nostril breathing every morning, and maybe several times a day as well. It certainly will not harm you. It can only help you, and you'll know if you've got polarity reversals, if that's playing any role in your fatigue, because you will feel a booster, like somebody's giving you a cup of coffee as soon as you reverse the spins on those out of alignment chakras, or chakras that are spinning the wrong way. So you'll know just by results if this is part of your problem. Second thing is EMF, meaning electromagnetic field overload or overdosing. Years ago this wasn't such a big problem, but today we are just totally saturated in a man-made electromagnetic, most of us in a man-made electromagnetic field environment. We've got electronic equipment in our homes that are emitting electromagnetic field, low frequency electromagnetic fields. We're using communications equipment like computers and cell phones, things like that, smartphones, that have very high frequency, emit very high frequency radio waves that are moving through you, your body, moving through your space. That's happening within your home for most of you. It's also coming in from the outside. We have things like smart meters, we have things like microwave towers. All of this is creating a radio frequency environment that is just dense, really, an invisible, dense situation. And it's easy enough for you to get overloaded by that. One of the early symptoms, I've dealt with electrosensitivity now for myself. I'm a highly sensitive person, and I developed electrosensitivity about 25 years ago. And one of the early symptoms is fatigue. It's sleep disruption and fatigue. So who knows if you're dealing with fatigue, whether this is a causal factor for you, but it certainly behooves you to check it out. One of the ways you can do that is it's very simple. Just start turning off your equipment, all your wireless equipment at night certainly, and as many moments of the day as you can possibly manage. The other thing would be to distance yourself from electronic equipment. So for example, if you're working in an office and your desk is positioned very close to, let's say, a printer, it doesn't need to be wireless, it could just be a printer. Maybe your feet are down by maybe you've got a hardwired computer, but you've got the box of the computer is right by your feet, and underneath your desk is an electrical strip with a couple of those black transformers, those little black boxes. Those emit huge electromagnetic fields. So even if all you did was just move those black boxes and that electrical strip away from you, a little bit further away from you, get an extension cord and push it back 5-6 feet. Move your chair back a little bit, move your computer back just a little bit from you. Every inch really matters when you're dealing with basic electromagnetic fields. Again, with the high intensity stuff like your microwave radiation that you're experiencing with your cell phone, your Wi-Fi router, stuff like that, distancing yourself a few inches isn't going to help you that much. What you need to do is you really need to turn off the equipment. Spending time with nature can also be helpful. It can help leave the cell phone at home, get away from all the electromagnetic stuff and get out in nature in a clean environment, energetically clean environment, and that can help stabilize your system and strengthen it so you'll be able to better tolerate the EMF environments when you go into them. So check for EMF overload. If the electromagnetic fields in your environment are playing a role in your fatigue, if you will minimize what's going on in that regard and get out of the environment, and if you notice you feel better when everything's minimized or when you're out and away from the environment, that's an indicator that this is indeed a problem and playing a role in your fatigue, and so you want to develop a habit of moderating your exposure. Learn more. You can learn a lot more too about doing things that will strengthen your body and make you more resilient in environments like that. But bottom line, start paying attention to it. Third thing would be spirit attachments. There are, in many environments, it's not uncommon at all for there to be what I call disembodied spirits or discarnates in the environment. These can be, the essence of, the astral shell of humans that have died. It can be that haven't gone where they're supposed to go. It can be, the spirits of plants or animals, a wide range of different type of spirits on the loose, basically, that need to get somewhere but haven't gotten there yet, and they can end up attached to you. If too many of them or the wrong types get attached to you, it can be very, very fatiguing. I've had that happen to me before. I had it happen once. I remember a vivid scene once. I was at the Phoenix airport, and I went to call my boyfriend to say goodbye. I was flying out to Ireland, and I picked up the phone, and I must have walked through some kind of field where there was just a glob of spirits, and I was just totally globbed with literally thousands of spirits. It was so overwhelming, I almost fainted. In addition to just extraordinary, instantaneous fatigue, I had just really bad pains in my stomach, just like that. I mean, it was just instantaneous. I kind of limped to the bathroom and almost missed my plane because of it. It took me a while to get the spirits off. So what do you do if you, that kind of situation, I will tell you, is not common. That kind of, thousands of spirits attached to you. But periodically picking up a few spirits or 10 spirits or 100 spirits is not that uncommon, and it can fatigue you. They can also stay attached to you for an extended period of time. So if you're dealing with chronic fatigue, you especially want to check for this. What do you do about that? What do you do about spirit attachments? Well, the treatments can range dramatically depending on what exactly is going on and the type of spirits that are attached to you and why they attach to you in the first place. One of the things you want to check is the condition of your aura. You may have some aura damage. When you have aura damage, it creates a type of light that the spirits are attracted to. You've heard that saying, when people die, they see a light and go into the light. Well, when you have aura damage, that creates a type of light that the spirits are attracted to. Your cell phone. I have got a YouTube video called "Is Your Cell Phone Haunted?" and you should watch that. Your cell phone can actually get energetic breaks in it that will attach spirits. And so here you're walking around with the cell phone in your purse or in your pocket or whatever, and it's just loaded with spirits, and they end up attached to you via the cell phone. So that would, clean the cell phone as instructed in that other video. Periodically check your aura to see, you can just douse about this or otherwise intuit what's going on with your aura, and do aura repair. You can learn about that online. You can learn about that on my website. I've got a seminar in the Sensar Video Vault called Repairing Your Aura. But you want to keep your aura in really good shape. Smudging is something that can help with spirits. Just simple smudging with something as basic as sage. You can get that online, or you might have a store in your town that sells that type of thing. And just, light a bundle of sage on fire and then blow it out, get the smoke, and just smudge yourself. Waft yourself with the smoke really, really well. That can often clear the spirits off. Sometimes this sounds like a crazy solution, but it can be incredibly effective. Have a few sips, like maybe a quarter of a bottle of a really good high quality ale. The yeast, the living elements of the ale, actually create a type of light as well for the spirits, and can act as a weird kind of booster shot for them to get on and out of our dimension and wherever they're supposed to go. Now, I'm not advocating, swigging, ale every single day, but in a pinch, I've done this many times. I'll take I always keep really high quality ale in my house, and if I get swarmed with spirits and I don't feel like doing any of this other mechanical stuff like repairing my aura right that minute or whatever, I'll just take a few swigs of ale, and that will clear off most spirits. It's very, very interesting. Salt baths, that would be one other recommendation. Do a foot soak in warm water with about a cup of salt, or take a bath with a couple cups of salt in the warm water, and that very often will pull some of the spirits out of your energy field. So these are very, very basic techniques that I'm suggesting, and certainly there can be other things that you might need to do. Spirit blessings are common, where you can just focus on the spirits. You can douse to detect if they're there, and then just put your mind on the spirits and send out a simple blessing, something like, please bless these spirits and send them into the light or to the most appropriate place for them at this time, something like that. But again, that's a very simple technique, and many times it takes, or I'm not going to say many times, some of the time it takes much more sophisticated strategies than what I'm suggesting to deal with spirits, but most of the time it actually is this simple. So if you're dealing with fatigue, even if you can't tell for sure if you've got a spirit situation, implement some of the strategies I just suggested. Start taking salt baths, start doing a daily blessing, just assuming there are some spirits in your energy field. It certainly can't hurt. It's not going to hurt you. And do some of the other things like daily smudging of your house, clean the phone, energetically, et cetera, et cetera. Acquired energies. So we've got 1, 2, 3 now. Acquired energies, number 4. What are those? This is one of the bigger categories in the few that I'm going to cover today that can be hugely impacting. It might be more common than any of the other things that I'm talking about. And what I mean by acquired frequencies or acquired energies is where we pick up energetic exchanges from other people. I've got a YouTube video called Energy Vampires or Psychic Vampires, something like that, that you can watch, and you'll learn a little bit more about energetic exchanges. 99% of these exchanges or more are completely unconscious. No one is trying to bombard you with non-beneficial energy, but bottom line, it happens very regularly. It's kind of a magnetic attraction thing. Just in very simple terms, and it can be absolutely debilitating. I have worked with clients over the years that had acquired energy situations or were entangled energetically with other human beings that had really, really low energy, and it literally destroyed these people's lives. I mean, they went from robust health, wonderful energy, great success, business success or whatever, to just literally in the gutter because of acquired frequencies. And one of the common early onset symptoms of the acquired energies or of the energetic entanglements was severe fatigue in all these cases. And I myself have experienced that. When I pick up energetic exchanges from other people, it almost always hits me in the form of fatigue. That's how I can tell that I've picked up something, that there's been some type of exchange. Now, how do you deal with acquired frequencies? This is a gigantic topic. And sometimes it's very difficult to deal with some of these things, but there are some easy strategies too that can help. And if it doesn't help and acquired energies are your problem, you can just go on and learn more. But some of the things you can do, a simple technique would be a technique that I call the rose technique. And you just, you can douse or just assume you've picked up some energy somewhere, and you just ask to see a rose that would balance the energies that you've picked up through the course of the day, from people, from places, from objects, from environments, whatever. And you just imagine, you just use your inner vision, and a rose will appear. It might be purple, it might be striped, it might be made out of glass, it might be made out of metal or paper, all kinds of different shapes and sizes and colors and materials will show up to form the rose. And you just hold your intention and you just ask the rose, as though it's a conscious being, to transform the energies that you've picked up during the course of the day, any acquired energies from people, places, or objects. And then you just wait and you'll see the rose destroy itself. Don't try to force this. Just watch and see what happens. Ask the rose to transform the energy, and the rose will destroy itself. It might blow up, it might just, pop like that, and you'll see just a little, spark of light, and that's it. You might see a big dragon come out of the corner and chomp it and eat it, and then the dragon disappears. Who knows what, a vacuum comes and vacuums it up. Who knows what you're going to see? It doesn't matter. The rose just will be destroyed. Once there is no speck of it, you either douse or otherwise intuit how much of the acquired energies did that clear. Any energetic imbalance did that clear. And if you're only 20% or 30%, ask to see another rose. And you just keep on doing this until you're 100% clear. You will feel the shift in your energy if you do have acquired frequencies that this technique is helping you with. You will truly feel a major shift in energy. So try it. It's called the simple rose technique. And again, there are many, many other more advanced techniques that sometimes become necessary in these situations. But the rose technique is one of my favorites because it's very easy and it works a huge percentage of the time with simple acquired energies. Do it daily. I wouldn't let stuff pile up for months and months and months and months. Do it daily or every other day, and you'll have more success with it. Lastly, a very common and often little understood type of fatigue inducer is underground water. If you're sleeping, 6-8 hours a night, and yet you wake up and you are just phenomenally fatigued, especially if you're not only fatigued, but you've got aches and pains, Two things I'd suspect right off the bat. One would be EMF, electromagnetic stuff, radio frequency, especially exposure. Turn off your Wi-Fi router, make sure your phones are off, all that type of thing. That can cause that type of, you rest, but you never actually rest, and so you wake up feeling fatigued. The other thing would be underground water. Underground water, if your bed's right on top of a course of flowing underground water, very common cause of fatigue. Or if your desk where you sit 8 hours a day is right above an underground stream, that can cause fatigue. So how do you know if this is a potential problem? Or other environmental energies. There are other types of invisible environmental energies like underground fault lines, what I call energetic grid pathways that can affect you and also induce fatigue. What if water or any of these other things are going on? How do you know it's going on? Well, if you know how to dowse, you could dowse for it. The other option would be simply move, simply sleep someplace else or sit someplace else for a couple of days and see if, other than at the desk you normally sit at, and see if your fatigue is relieved. If it's relieved, it means that something in that space where you've been sitting or you've been sleeping is affecting your energy level. It is fatiguing you. So you're going to need to figure out what that is or change your location permanently. But bottom line is often just moving your bed, moving the bed in the room to the opposite side. It's on one side against a wall, move it to the other side. Often that will solve a fatigue problem. So again, chakra imbalances where you've gotten a polarity reversal, which simply means the chakras are spinning the wrong way, might be one possibility. EMF overload might be another possibility. Spirit attachments, acquired energies, and underground water or other invisible environmental issues. All these things, I've seen hundreds of different situations where these things or a combination of these things have been at play in anything from minor to devastating fatigue situations. This isn't certainly everything that goes on that can cause fatigue. It's a very big subject. There are many, many, many other subtle energy situations, but this should get you started. This should be helpful, and I hope you benefit. If you are someone who suffers from fatigue, I hope you benefit from what you learned today and will implement what you just learned ASAP. So talk to you next time and get busy. Bye for now.